What is up, Nest Makers? We are on day 20, day 20, I believe, towards our, excuse me, Nest Maker, Nest Games Made Quick with Nest Maker tutorial series that hopefully is helping some of you guys get ready for Bite Off. Yes, this video didn't post yesterday. I had to get the Bite Off video up, and that was very exciting. So hopefully you guys are watching that as well and have some maybe hypotheses as to who the perpetrator could be. But right now, hopefully, whether you're watching this in real time or you're watching this getting ready for your own hackathon or class or whatever it is, giving you some ideas. I want to start turning the corner into narrative, right? So we have a lot of components that I can put together levels with, and I can get some all kinds of ideas. But now I really want to turn into some narrative stuff because right now, this is my start screen. Yay, I guess. That's not enough. I want to make sure that I have a really cool looking start screen that can really sell it. And I'm not going to totally flesh out the start screen today, but I'm going to talk about like maybe designing some graphics. So like if I want to have a title, I want to pull this grid over the top here and know that there's sort of a safe area that's usually reserved. And it's about 2 tiles in each direction that I wouldn't go near. And I wouldn't venture up into your HUD. So aesthetically, we want our title to fall right in sort of this area right here, maybe. And keep in mind that when you're looking at a tile set, this is only 128 by 128 pixels. This is 256. So if you just sort of make your tile here, like say I write the word quest, Quest, or something like that, like, actually make that's only going to fill about this much space. Right. So maybe I need to think about that, like how many tiles graphic should take up, letters should take up. So let's say I want to write the word dungeon. All right. What I'm going to do, this is just an exercise so I can sort of see how much space I want. So let's see what we would get if we started on like right here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Let's say I make 3 tile wide D U, and I'm just seeing if this is generally the right site. So generally the right size. So don't worry about the actual look. This is not how we're actually going to create this. I'm just sort of looking at the size and dungeon. And you know what? I think that instinct is pretty correct. I'm about a tile off. You can see there's no way to sort of fix that. I got 2 tiles over here and 3 tiles over here, but Dungeon. So the word dungeon I could make this 3 tiles wide. If I were to write this exactly like this, right, what would happen is it would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 tiles wide. You don't have 28 tiles wide here, right? You only got 16. Not only that, but it would be stupid to do that because you have an N right here and an N right here, Dungeon. So this is just a duplicate of this unless I want to do something special with the N at the end. So at least now, though, I've got sort of an idea. So I want these to be 3 wide, and I would say 6 tiles high. That's a pretty good look for this. And so I'm going to start working on lettering for that. And we want to make sort of, I don't know, stylized lettering that is going to sort of be indicative of the kind of game that we're going to make, or at least look like it's in the same font family with all these letters. So let's go to Pixel Editor. I'm not going to worry about actually making the tile sets yet. I'm going to make a new BMP that's 128 by 128. I'm going to turn on my 8-pixel grid. And remember I said I'll grab a new palette too. We were using that palette. We're using that palette. I should name these palettes. But for right now, I'll just use this last sub palette just to sort of get an idea what this looks like. What we had said was I need this to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, oops. So I can only fit, let's see, put this like this. That would be my D. This would be my U. N. G. E, and then I wanted this to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, so then I can put E, O. Oops. The O would be here. And then I can have all my letters, my D, my U, my N, my G, my E, my O, and then I'd use my N again on the screen. And so this would give me two main tile sets worth of graphics that I need to create. And then I'll have this area to sort of play with like other graphics that I might want on there, like the words press start, or if I wanted some visual elements and stuff like that. So let me come back, turn my 8x8 grid on. And so now I can start roughing out letters. I know the size that this is going to be. And I'm going to start pretty simple. I'm going to start with making anywhere that I know there would be a solid sort of line. So I know that this would be a solid line. D, my U would have a solid line, at least to here. And then I have to think about how I'm going to make the curve look like a curve instead of a V, right? D, U. Let's go to here, sorry. Oops, no, I was right the first time because I got to figure out that curve. My mouse is really sticking to that. Come here. DU. This would be an N. So this would be solid all the way down. This would be solid all the way down. I know it's really hard to sort of imagine what this looks like. I'm just going to go through my process. DUN. G wouldn't really have any full lines. It would sort of curve here, curve down. O wouldn't really have any solid line. Or E would. I'm sorry. This is E. And we can kind of imagine that this would look like this. And this would probably, if we wanted to be split in the middle. Now, I haven't decided whether that's what I'm going to do. But, and then O, and then N again. All right, so now let's start making these look a little bit more like the letters that they're supposed to. I don't have to stay on this 8x8 pixel like I did here. I don't have to stay on the 8x8 pixel. This was just sort of, I have a reference. And I know that I'm probably going to make this, I'm probably going to round this off. So this is probably going to end up being black. And this is probably going to end up, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is generally going to be blue. And this is going to be generally the shape like this for my D. Now, I have some decisions to make of style, right? So I could go pretty simple, and I could go almost... I could go very rigid with this. I'm going to zoom in now that, oops, zoom in. But I could, or I could, start to do this kind of thing. Like that. And then fill this in. And now I'm going to get a D. And don't worry, we're going to make this look more interesting in a minute. What I want to show you is how I'm going to use the treatment of this curve in other places. So now I'll make that vertical. And now you can see that I've got a D that came in. Now this, if I turn the grid off, it looks really squared off right here. So if I turn this on, I have to figure out, what do I want to actually happen here? Do I want this to connect and make a smaller sort of circle, or do I want this to come out and make it bigger? I think what I'm going to end up doing is, I think what's going to look the most sensible is see what it looks like if I do that. And then I'll grab that and I'll flip this vertical. So I think that's going to end up looking better. That looks more like a D. You can sort of see the shape there. And we're going to make this outline. We're going to do some cool stuff. In fact, we can outline the D right now. We're going to do an interior outline so that it stays roughly the same size. We can't have it go past that. So I would literally go in, and first thing I would do is I could do a couple things. I could highlight the outside, and then I could go in and I could make shadows on the bottom side. Like I could do something like this, where this side is getting the highlight. And then I could get, maybe I'll go a dark blue, and I'll make this a light blue like this. And I'll make the back and the bottom sort of get this this treatment, and then the light would be hitting here. So this would be white like that, and then that would give us, this sort of treatment. And maybe I would make this dark too. I don't think so. I think this would just be normal. But you can kind of see now I'm getting sort of some dimensionality to that, and that gives me sort of a stylized look for the graphic. I'm going to quickly get through some more of this. So now I've got something similar here. I've got the U. All right. So with the U, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, these lines, first of all, this can be black. I don't want this like that. The other thing I do too is I can make this a totally non blue color too. And that can sort of have a really cool look if I find the right color combination. And this could be not white. This could be like gold. Like I could try some really interesting combinations and probably get some cool results depending on what I'm going for. But the goal here is that we want sort of 3 different values to sell the dimensionality, to sell, that this has depth to it. So anyway, onto the U. So I'm going to, because I want this to look like a font that is, the same, I'm going to use this U shape. I won't be able to because, there we go. And I'll turn that like that. So I'm going to use the same exact shape. I just copied and pasted it for the U. And what I need to do now is I need to change what these colors are. And this is what this is going to do is it's going to make it look like it's got sort of like a unified font, like it looks sort of similar. So I'll take this line and I'll come down like that. And then I'll make sure that everything on this side, oops, sorry, my mouse is really not cooperating with me today. I think it's because screen capture tool that I'm using. And probably what I would do is I'd make these like that because that's what I did over here, right? I would extend this along the bottom. Come on, mouse. Work with me. And then I'd have this thing going on again where I want the inner corners. So with this, I've got this entire thing here. But then I'd want to do the same treatment to the corners, which was 1, 2, 3. Come on, mouse. Seriously? Okay. All right. So now with that, finish off these lines like that. And this side would be lit up according to the way that I've got this sort of written out. And maybe these would too, because that is the top. Maybe those wouldn't. And this would be the back side of this letter. Side of the letter. I forgot where that would stop. But basically, what we're getting is we've got DU, and you can see how it sort of matches the style, right? The curves are the same. So if you made a more squared off one, you could use pieces of the squared off one. And it might even be good to make corners and rounded edges and stuff like that without even thinking about the letter that they belong to, and then constructing those into the letter that you want. So now N. Let's do N real quick. We definitely need this to be black. And we're going to need like a line that goes from here to here. I can use my line tool, and maybe this is a good way to do it, and maybe it's not. I have to figure out whether I probably want to do this. So, oops, sorry, I had the wrong color. You're going to see sort of what one of the issues with the concept is. Okay, so that is the line. Where's the top of the line? So what we might want to do is start here and imagine this line goes to here for a second. And then I could just fill in the middle with the line like that. and then that doesn't look thick enough, right? So you can see sort of what the considerations are, like, okay, how thick do we want this, and where do I put that line thickness? The other thing that I could do, and this runs the risk of it looking like an H, so is don't use the entire thing. So instead, think about it like this. And then connect it like that. If you do this wrong, it could end up having the sort of effect of looking like an H, and so we don't, we want to avoid that. I'll use what's the quickest way to fill this in? Retro Game Forge has a bucket tool for this exact reason, that works like a bucket tool in a graphics tool that you'd be familiar with. Now, this doesn't go all the way up to the top. I don't know if I like that. It looks a little bit weird, so maybe I'll try and match that a little bit better like this. And I think that'll look enough like an N that we can get away with it. Okay. And now I'm going to do this. And this is also the back side here. And this is the back side. And then this is the top side. Would be here. I also should make this the top side too, probably. Here. And here. And here. And here. 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 And then since these are sort of flat surfaces, and here, be white too. And since these are sort of flat surfaces in the bottom, we get this, and we get this, and then I've got an N. And that's not a bad looking N for a non-artist, We got D-U-N. G is going to be the most complicated maybe, because it's a lot of these curves, right? So let's go in, and what I would do is the top corner of the G is this right here. So I'm going to paste that. Oops. I'm going to paste that right here. And the other side of the G is, honestly, if I just take this, I paste this here, and I hit horizontal, we've got the beginning of a G. And then coming down, it's just this. I can literally copy this and paste it right here. And you can see how I'm going to get a G out of this pretty easily. Same thing. The next part of the G here, I could take this part, paste it here. And you can see all I got to do is make this sort of weird entry now and clean this up a little bit. And I took from pieces that I already had to make a sort of unified looking letter that will look like it's part of the rest of this font, right? That's the goal, is we want it to look like it belongs with this family of fonts. So this would be the bottom of the G, and this would be, and we need this too. So we need probably want this, and we probably want, then this is an interior line, so we probably want to do this. Oops. Come here. Come on, just do what I want. Just do what I'm telling you to do right there. Okay. And then probably this. Or maybe one down like that. And we can go in and we can clean up individual pixels as we need to, whatever. The important part of this, though, is that we're going to do something like this. So, and this would come up, and then we'd have the top part, the right part, and then we would just fill that in. And I've got a G. And I did that using the other letters as reference. And again, for a non-artist to be doing this, if I could do it, you guys could do it. I am so far from an artist, it's hilarious. But what we end up getting, if we look at that, again, what I did was I cribbed mostly from these other letters, and you can start to see how this is coming along. E should be incredibly easy. It's already in place. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the dark purple, pop it in, put it along the bottom of all the bottoms like this, and then use white for the lighter color, go across the top and the right sides. Same for all these, right on the top. And I could do this too. I have to decide if I want that. You probably wouldn't see it. You probably wouldn't see it here because this would be in shadow. If you imagine this as an E, that's probably what it would look like, something like that. So now I've got this cool E. And again, I just sort of used what was, what's there. Oops, and let me do this right here. I use the other letters as reference. All I got to do left is the O because I already have the end. So the O should be pretty easy because it's this on one side. Oops, 8 byte pixels. Sorry, it's this on one side. It's this on the other side, flipped, and then it's just a matter of connecting them here. Flip it vertically here, and then going through and just cleaning up the edges there. So this would be white. This, I could use this tool, make this purple. Oops, make this probably purple. And again, there's going to be a little bit of give and take as we see how it looks. This should probably be white. This should probably be purple. This might be purple because it's on the underside of the thing. This would probably be purple right here. And then we have a line like this. And this would be, yeah, that's probably just about close to what I want. So if I zoom out of all this now, I can see that I've got letters that sort of match. They're a stylistic match. So I'm going to save as, and I'm going to save this as canvas for title screen. And I'm not done, but I'm going to add a tab. And in that new tab, I'm going to open up BCKCHR04, my next blank tile set. And what I notice is I can only fit 1, 2, 3 rows of 16 by 16 pixel tiles. So making this 3 rows is actually pretty smart for a NES Maker and how the graphics work. I can just copy this out. But the important thing is just copy out that much of it, save it, and now I'm going to open another tab. And I'm going to open that up. And I'm going to open the next, copy the O, paste it here. And now what I really need to do is I need some letters and numbers. Do I need all my letters and numbers for the start screen? Probably not, but I need some of them. So I can actually save that. So I'm going to open up my HUD, my letters and numbers. All right. And I could open up this BCKCHR. I'm not going to use this for the title screen anymore, but I'm going to try and get as much of this as I can. I don't need all of it. And you can see I've still got plenty of room here that I can work with, and I can put all kinds of stuff there. What I really desperately need are a bunch of letters. I could just grab the press start letters. I'm going to see, let's see what I can grab here. If I can grab this, put it here. This is terrible to do for your HUD. It's not going to work very well for your HUD, and I'm making it harder to find letters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 than they need to be. But I should have all my letters on the screen if I wanted, for some reason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need this row. I should have at least all my letters on the screen. And this row here. So I can write now sort of whatever I want. And if I want to clean this up a little bit, I could just grab these, pop them here. So now I've got all my letters and numbers here and still a little bit of space. So I had plenty of room. I could save this. And now if I go to my overworld, I'm going to go into here. And this is what I was playing around with here. I don't want this here anymore. What I want is tile layout. What was it 4 and 5? 4. And I don't want main screen path. I want double main. And for one of them, I'm going to put 4, and one of them, I'm going to put 5. And now I've got that much to work with. I hit OK. And you can see it loaded this first tile to everywhere. So I'm going to have to paint with a 0 tile. I'm going to just know that I'm going to keep this as my blank tile. Or I know that this is going to be my blank tile. That's literally a blank tile. That's my space if I've got a text string. So I'm going to take this. If you didn't know this, if I hit the escape key, so I don't have anything selected, I can hit Shift and grab an area, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. I could do that again, make it a little faster. Control C, Control V, Control V. All right, so now I can find, a sub palette that I like, or I can go to that fresh sub palette, which I think was 2, and then I have that to play with. And there's 1. Oh, and I just used this. Okay, so I'm just going to use sub palette 2 for this, and I'm going to put in regular blue, dark blue, like this purplish color, and a light color like this. So now I'm going to hold Shift and grab this. And remember, I had said 1, 2 was the place to put it. DUNGE, and then I'll grab the O. And then I'll grab the N. And you know why this isn't working? Because I had put a space between each letter originally. So I'm going to go and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that again. Let me try this. So now I'm going to grab D. And I'm going to move it over 2. I'm going to grab U, but I'm going to move it over from one from there. And this is sort of what I was talking about. Like, you can make use of the space. You don't have to draw it on this canvas exactly like what it's going to show up on your screen. Oops. Clean that up. Oh, come on. Oh. And we'll go back and we'll grab the N again. Like that. I can see on my O, that's actually, I'd have to fix that graphic. I don't know why I kept that one light. It's okay. This looks good for now. And then what I could do is if I wanted to put press start here, I have all my letters, so I can write, you guys have seen this. I'm not worried about the placement, and I'll show you why in a second. But I'm going to write press start PR, and I put my letters all in order so they're hard to find. Press SS S T A R and T. And now I've got sort of these extra things I could do, like I could do that. I could put some copyright information down here if I wanted to. If I needed to move this, I could hit escape to get rid of anything that's selected. So if I have something selected, you'll see there's a ghosted image. Hit escape, bam. And I held shift, I just grab it, I copy it, and I want to move it over one, paste it, and then just Control V to paste it, and then I can just paint. I don't know which way is better. But now I've got my sort of tile set here. I could have more fun with the colors. I could maybe make, an underline. Like, let's say I wanted, just wanted like a red underline under this thing. I could do that really easily like this. Oops. That just little details like that could make it really sort of look like a professional screen. And then if I had some graphic elements, and I've got a little bit of room, and I can always use anything that I'm not using in here. If it was blank tile, got that space too, and here and here. I'd go in and I could put maybe some bricks or maybe a monster's face right here, and maybe I put my copyright or my studio name at the bottom. And if I test this, simply looks a lot cooler than the screen that I had before. If I want to hide lives and gems on this screen, I can go to Screen Info, and where it says Hide HUD, hit OK. And then I'll get a nice, completely different start screen. Press the start button, and I'm into my dungeon. So we've now started down a path of making a cooler start screen that's a little bit more unique, and thinking about how to make letters that sort of function the same way. You can see how I used a curve for this, and I used it over and over again where I needed curves, and where I needed straight lines, I used the same treatment over and over again. How I had the straight lines, I would have probably made this red right here. I accidentally made this the wrong pixel white, but you get the idea. These are some great thoughts as far as when you're creating your title screen. How do you create a font? Use the same rules for every letter. Use the same like pieces across the letters, unless you have a significant reason, and that's going to give you sort of a stylized approach to creating a title screen. Hope that was a fun one. It was. I know it was a lot of me actually just drawing pixel art. Hopefully, it gave you some ideas on how you can approach a cooler looking start screen for your game. See you tomorrow.